Hi there, friends. Welcome to yet another edition of Akpan's Diary. And my name is James Akpan, to have another wonderful conversation with great African youths. And this evening we'll be speaking music, and not just music, but jazz music, something very inspiring. And I have two wonderful duo in as my guests today, Thuli, Zama, and David Smith, and they have a group called And Then. So, Thuli.
Hi, James.
Hi, David. How are you?
Hi, James.
Great. So let's speak with And Then. What is And Then? Why And Then?
Well, okay, so we have this little backstory to the name.
A story to the name.
Yes. So,
yeah.
I didn't realize I'd do this. So, when Thuli phones, usually it's work related, and sometimes I'm like, I don't want to answer.
Okay.
So, she called one day, and I picked up and I said, and then, and I forgot to mention, she actually tweeted about this.
Yeah, blasted him on
So
Facebook,
she threw me under the bus and said,
So it came from frustration.
yes.
So,
I'm like, I've been friends with this punk for 17 years. And yet every time I call, he's like,
And then.
You know, like
Yes.
I'm calling
so,
a stranger.
so this has been a norm for 17 years And Then.
And I wasn't even aware of this.
So now it's stuck.
Now it's stuck.
Great.
Yes.
And you just released a single called Coffee in the Morning.
Yes.
I've been trying to wrap my head around this title, Coffee in the Morning. I'm wondering, I'm a big lover of tea. So why not tea in the
feel
morning?
left out, James.
Yeah, so why coffee?
Well, coffee is just a representation, really, of the little things in life that we do in a love relationship. So I feel like sometimes people want to concentrate on getting each other mansions and sport cars and forget to do the everyday little things. So for me, it's just the little things that we have to remember to do for each other to keep the sparks flying.
Yes.
David, do you agree with that?
I do.
Because I thought the ladies might like the sport cars, the fashion and all that. So
Well,
I never knew that they would like just coffee.
Well, as Janet Jackson said, the best things in life are free.
True that. True that.
Yeah.
So
But
yes,
coffee is not that free.
that's true. But
So
yeah, it's the song. If you hear it, it's like a simple kind of vibe. So it goes in
Playful.
line. Yes,
Yeah.
So it's not complicated, and that's how life really should be.
okay, so that our audience will have a sense of what we're talking about, this Coffee in the Morning, and to see how not complicated the song is. Would you oblige us to do the song so that our audience will have a feel of it, so that we can?
Absolutely.
Okay. So audience, And Then, as made up of David Smith and then Thuli, Zama will then take us through their new song, Coffee in the Morning. It's very romantic, isn't it? All right, take it up.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. 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 Bum 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 ba-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. 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 Coffee in the morning is how I'd like to start my day, especially if it's brewed by you. Ooh, it tastes even stronger. The appreciation I have for you runs so deep. Ooh, up, love the way you spoil me. When I've had a long day, you love me so good. I don't have to wonder, 'cause you show me every moment. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. 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 Bum 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 ba-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
Brilliant, excellent.
Thank you.
Very beautiful voice, I must say. It's fine song.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and the part that you said that, especially when it's brewed by him.
Tastes better.
Yes.
I picked up that.
Wow.
I picked up that, and I think I'm probably going to put it into practice.
Yes.
So,
Good man.
so I need to get a coffee mixing machine at home so that I can always brew it.
But you know, guys, when you were kids and you're eating your food, it tasted like, oh, and then your mom sits you in your lap and she gives you her food.
Yeah.
It was always so much
Yes.
better. You know, just
Awesome.
I guess
Awesome.
I love being loved.
Awesome. And I was wondering why this genre? Why jazz? Why not something contemporary in the pop culture?
Well,
You know.
in terms of jazz, so I mean, I can talk for myself. So I grew up listening to a lot of what they call smooth jazz.
Okay.
You know? So not really like the the Charlie.
And who
Parkers.
inspired you the most?
Well, okay, this Bob James.
Bob James,
George Duke. How can I forget George Duke?
Spyro Gyra,
Yes, exactly. Those kind of guys.
yeah, El Clue. And the
There we
rest of
go.
them.
There we go. So that's what I listen to a lot, And then when I got to UKZN and met Thuli, that's when we learned real jazz.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
So we had to do Charlie Parker and all these other guys.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's kind of like what we studied, and what, so it came, I suppose, I wouldn't say naturally, but it was just a nice foundation on which we can build.
So you actually studied music?
Yes.
Both of you studied music at
Yeah.
University of KwaZulu-Natal.
Yes, that's where we
interesting.
met.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so how was it then? Was it just a jazz kind of thing, or with some African percussion? And because this is Africa, so what influenced you to now tilt more to jazz and not the regular African kind of beat?
I think
Even though there's Afro jazz now, I mean,
Yes.
Burna Boy just won a Grammy with that.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, what's the fusion of Afro in your music now?
I think back then it was very like American-based standards jazz.
Okay.
I feel like now, because I work in the music department, I feel like now.
So your music,
there's more-
all true and true.
Yes, every piece of me is music.
Yes.
And I
Awesome.
guess for me, it was the fact that I grew up and my family loves music a lot. So I grew up exposed to a lot of music and just fell in love with jazz. So it was a natural progression for me to want to study music
Okay.
and want to study maths.
Let's not go there.
Don't want to know my maths marks.
Let's not go there. So what was your background like? Did you sing in the church? Did you have any kind of infant exposure, your childhood exposure? Were you,
I've just never not sang, not necessarily singing in the church in the traditional choir route, but like my friends would tell you, even in high school, we'd
Yeah.
like form little choirs,
Choir groups, yeah, I
and
know
form
that.
little ensembles, and I'd like drag my friends to sing with me all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, for me, it's just always been the natural thing to do. Yeah.
For me, it was church, I have to say.
Yeah.
So,
Credit goes to you.
my church background is really Anglican. So
Okay.
it's not like, when
so did
people-
you play the keyboard or you play the organ? You know, the
Actually,
Anglicans, they play the
You'd
organ.
be surprised. I've played a little bit of drums.
Oh.
And then piano. I loved piano. Like that was my main thing. But I actually forgot that I played a little bit of, but simple beats, not like complicated.
Not too
things.
complicated,
Yeah. But the church, I think, for me was my first exposure to playing in front of people, and nothing. When we think church music, it's not this, this,
Hymns.
heavy. No, it was hymns kind of
Okay.
thing. But this heavy. Now, when people say, "Oh, you're a church musician," they think you can. It was really simple stuff.
Well, it has evolved now. You
It
listen to
has,
some
yes,
church songs and they're quite, they feed into contemporary songs and all that, but
Exactly.
very inspiring
Yeah.
and very soul searching. So when you met at UKZN, said in the early 2000s, and did you immediately form And Then?
No.
Or
it
what was it called?
now.
What was it called before you eventually became And Then?
We used to do gigs
Yeah,
together.
just as our names,
Yes.
Oh.
We'd gig at little restaurants. There was a Moroccan place called Yossi's.
Okay.
And the one in Durban North, I always forget that one.
Oscars.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oscars, yeah.
So we formed a lot of repertoire playing
Okay.
together, but also I think people can recognize that we've played together a lot because of our musical chemistry here. Yeah,
We
so
even had a little that band with
Time
with
Beat.
yes, with Mandy.
Yes,
So
our
there was
friend Mandy
another
Wilkins.
yes. She
Yeah,
played
that's-
sax
Yeah.
and she sang as well. So yeah, there were three of us. at
That's
one point.
interesting. So why is this your first album, or you had something in the offing before?
Yeah. So I think lockdown.
Or you just decided to make this very professional now?
Lockdown happened. If lockdown hadn't happened, we wouldn't be here as in then. Lockdown sort of forced us to like continue pacing ourselves and not dropping the ball with our music, but also we got very serious about our compositions and wanting to put them out there. So Coffee in the Morning is the first single, but we do have every intention of releasing an album. Just like people who get married, it's like, when's the baby coming? We hear you guys. We hear the plea for the album. It is coming in the near future.
Maybe when we have another lockdown, that can give birth to another album. Since this is a product of a lockdown,
it's brewing
as they would say, the conception has started.
So and the music is there as well, which makes it easy.
Oh, you have a.
Just need this.
Okay, the song. It's fantastic. I quite like the idea that rather than just sit down and brood over the lockdown, you actually got very productive and then gave birth to this beautiful song that you have. That's quite inspiring. And I know the lockdown also came with a lot of frustrations with a lot of people and families. And suffice me to also ask if you had frustrations also so far with your music career. What are the frustrations that you have faced? Having come together in the early 2000s from back in the days of UKZN till date. What are the kind of challenges that you have faced?
Well, for me, it's really, I would say, Thuli's more, how can I say, you could answer that a bit more better, you know, because you've had like really a lot, you've released albums with other bands and stuff. But for me, I think with the release of the single, that my eyes have been opened, because you know it's one thing to just be a gigging musician and not actually go out there and make an album or it's because you're working all the time.
But was it paying though? The gigs?
Yes.
Was it paying? Was it paying the bills?
Let's just say it was pain. You know, because at the end of the day, gigging is where we make most, would you say, most of our income?
Yes, from music.
You know.
So it being in a lockdown and not being able to perform was super frustrating.
Cash crunch.
Like we had our first few gigs in the last few weeks, and just not staring into cameras, but staring into actual humans and getting natural reactions from humans has been, like, I think for me, I appreciate it so much more than I did over all these
So the connection with your audience.
Definitely.
And is that why you like jazz as against some pop kind of songs?
Well, for me, I think, the thing for jazz is I like the improvisation, the fact that it's, so we can kind of, we're not always improvising, so we have set songs, but we're very free. So even when we're on stage and we haven't planned something, I like the fact that we both kind of feed off each other and it just works.
That's why we get very frustrated at corporate gigs where someone will be like, okay, the musicians can stay here and sing or go there. I'm like, no, but I'm making.
So you are restricted, put in a straight jacket to just follow a certain pattern. Wow, so jazz. And you went to New Orleans?
Yes, we did.
And I'm trying to, was that a deliberate choice because jazz was born in New Orleans? Was that a deliberate choice to go to the home of jazz? Or was it something that just, something else that took you there?
Well, as most people know that I'm a part of Heels Overhead, an all-female jazz band based in Durban. So we're very fortunate to have that opportunity to go play at Enola, New Orleans.
Yeah, as I say, New Orleans, Louisiana.
And it really was like a dream because like we were in a lineup with Diana Ross, Jill Scott.
You don't say.
Lizzo wasn't Lizzo then. Now that I look at the lineup, I'm like, whoa.
Wow.
So
how was the experience? Take us through that experience.
It was like a dream. I think for me, I'm still like trying to like gather it up completely in my head.
You're still trying to pinch yourself to say,
seriously,
was I there?
Honestly, when I look at the pictures today, I'm like,
was I really there?
You know, and I look at the lineup. So yeah, all thanks to Etegani municipality that had a relationship with 3-year relationship with the festival in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So they could bring musicians.
Was that the jazz festival in New Orleans?
No, it's just a music festival. Do you remember what it's called? Essence Festival.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, so then we were chosen to be part of that because again, a very hard-working band. Hills of Head has been around for a while, so I think hard work pays off eventually.
It does.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It does, it does. So what exactly, how would you describe your kind of jazz? What does it represent? Is it, well, I know Coffee in the Morning is romantic. Is that what it represents, or is it, are you trying to pass on a social message to probably couples, or is it political? Is it, what exactly are you trying to address?
Well, our lyrics are not limited, I'd say, because when I think of My Brother's Keeper, it really, that's the one song that has got lyrics that, you know, make people sit and think about things, because we address gender-based violence, we address xenophobia in that song, because I think as musicians, we can't just be in a comfortable place. We need to have the conversations that will make people, you know, have to think about things and do things better, because we stand for love in every shape and form, and not just romantic love, but also just loving your fellow man, you know, and not treating each other differently because of our different skin color or whatever.
So so events shape your lyrics. You look at events, probably maybe there's a social problem like xenophobia or whatever it is, and that kind of like inspires you.
My Brother's Keeper, we wrote it in one night.
Yes, we did.
Like, we wrote it, it was just a finished song in like 3 hours.
What was that about? What's Brother's Keeper about?
My heart was heavy, my heart was heavy.
Okay.
That's the one that I was saying, that it addresses gender-based violence. It was the time where, like, every second day, a woman was killed by their partner, and it was just becoming a norm in South Africa that, you know.
Well, it's actually a global issue. Yes. And so many reasons could be adduced to that, from unemployment to social ills and all kinds of, and then cultural issues also. But how, because you've raised a very important point, some of the age bracket that probably are more involved in gender-based violence, maybe below 50 or so. Okay, for lack of what to say, maybe the values are not as established as their parents or forebearers were, so possibly that's a problem. That's an issue. And these are people within your age bracket. So how do you reach these people? How do you preach this message to them? How do you make them see that you need to, because it starts with actually respecting a woman, you know, before you get to gender. So how do you preach this message?
Well, I think, you know, in terms of that song, My Brother's Keeper, it's almost like a baby. So we had this dilemma, which song are we going to release first? But
because it was top in our priority list.
You know.
But
we feel like we don't want to just release it and it to be out there. It needs to be like, people need to know what it's about.
It's a message.
It's a message. It's not just another song, you know. And I think that's so important because, you know, in the pop, you know, pop culture and just pop music, it's a hit today and tomorrow it's forgotten. And we want the song to stand out. We really want it to be in people's minds, you know. Kind of like, well, you know, like We Are the World. If you say We Are the World, everyone knows what song you're talking about.
But also be relevant even in 10 years,
exactly
20
my
years.
point. Exactly my point.
Yeah, so it's timeless. It's timeless.
Yes.
And that's very important also because music actually is a tool, an instrument for social change.
Right. Yes.
Okay, so so when you have young musicians like you come forward with the message, and then, but are you competing with the pop music and all the rap songs and all that? Because I'm trying to look at your audience and given your demography, I'm trying to look at the audience and say what today, how are they receiving your music, or they are a lot more interested in the rap songs and all that?
Well, firstly, James, we in our own lane.
That's
we do
true.
not compete with anybody.
Yes,
we just do us.
I love that.
And most importantly, I think for me, like the music we make is the music we love. We really love the music we make.
Yeah.
So we wouldn't like release gibberish. Well, we really believe in our sound and who we are, but also the relevance of it. You know. So when it comes to the other genres, I don't frown upon other genres. I mean, they've got their place in society. I might be getting further and further away to understanding what's happening at this level. As my nieces always remind me, "Mncane, you know nothing about pop culture."
But you better tell her that we still listen to them to try and make sense of what they're saying.
Yeah.
Even though at times some of you struggle to understand what they mean, but actually they make sense, and it speaks to them in a way.
Definitely. But I also think our backgrounds, like the fact that we come from a Christian background, so there are those sounds, the fact that we grew up listening to soul and R&B, definitely that neo-soul vibe really comes out in our songs. So it's very relatable. So someone who's not a fan of jazz can definitely love and relate to our songs. It's kind of the bridge between the serious jazz and what's happening now in the new generation.
But like with everything else, you know, like I think of, if you think of Burger King, McDonald's, I believe, I might be wrong, but I read somewhere that when Burger King was starting out, they set up shop next to a McDonald's because everybody was going to McDonald's. You know, and it's the same, like we in a place where, okay, Nden is new, but it's a journey. So we just have to keep doing what we're doing.
Keep evolving.
Exactly. People will eventually. So even though we might not be widely known, we just have to. Yes, we just have to keep our. Well,
like since we're speaking about Christian background, the good book says that we shouldn't despise the small beginnings, the humble beginnings, because it grows. It's like a seed. When you plant it, eventually it grows. Especially when you come with a message to address a social phenomenon. So it has a lot of prospect to go. And when you were singing, then I was trying to relate to your style to Anita Baker, Aretha Franklin. So I'm trying to, is there a mentor somewhere? Or
tell that story about what
that's what I'm thinking.
No, you have to.
That's what I'm thinking. Anita Baker is actually my aunt. She just doesn't know it yet. So one of my uncles.
Anita Baker, you've got a niece in Durban, South Africa.
When I was younger, one of my uncles convinced me that he's married to Anita Baker, and I fell for it. I was eating that pie, guys. So I used to walk around telling people, Anita Baker's married to my
uncle. Are you serious? Let me tell you something. I actually named my daughter Anita.
Wow.
Because I just don't know. Daddy was just a big fan of Anita Baker and was just playing it, and no one in the world could, and stuff like that. So I grew up knowing that, and so I just fell in love with the music and with the name. At first, I probably didn't understand all the things because it was so much of heavy percussions of love. But I then the music, the name also stuck with me. So when I had my daughter, I gave her, and I told her the story that your name is Anita because of this, and it means grace.
Wow.
Hebrew word for grace. Same thing with
Grace is one of my favorite female names, actually.
You see?
Well, I've always thought, which African language,
can you fit that into? Well, now you've got Anita. Okay, so tell me about which of her songs do you like most?
Oh, for me, I guess it's Same Old Loving. We do Caught Up in the Rapture because that's the one people know. I'm too scared to do Sweet Love. It's in my top 3. Sweet Love, guys, it goes through the ranges. It's like from one octave to another.
It's a fantastic song.
It is lovely,
So that's my top 3. Same Old Loving, 365 days a year. Sweet Love and Caught Up in the Rapture.
And you think it's, come to think about it, you think it's possible to just do that from the beginning to end, 365 days in a year? I want the same old love. Hey, that's work. That's a project, man.
Are you willing to work?
Are you willing to?
That's a project. 365 in a day. So I just keep bringing coffee every morning.
That's exactly.
So what do I serve in the afternoon?
It doesn't have to be every morning, but don't let her forget. I always say you can't let your girlfriend walk out and be told, how am I? You need to be telling her that she's gorgeous, because they will tell her out there, you know what I'm saying? So boys, pick up your socks.
Free advice, boys.
Yes.
Tell your girlfriend every morning, and don't forget to give them coffee before they step out of the house. Every morning, not just in the afternoon, in the morning, coffee in the morning. So Dave, so tell me, let's just talk like guys, gentlemen. Do you do coffee every morning? Or you skip some mornings?
Well, look, I do it. Let me just say, I do it when I can. I do it.
Yeah, that's the man. When you can.
When I can.
But she does understand that the intentions are there.
Absolutely.
You're quite intentional. It's
So
just
what other little things that would, count as coffee in the morning? Do you make sure you do for her?
Well, like communicating during the day, I would say, like that's an easy thing. That's something, you know.
You just pick up the call and
a
then.
lot of people drop the ball with the
that,
communication.
exactly. You know, so like just hey, you know, thinking about you kind of thing. What else?
But you actually think about her when you call, or at times you're so frustrated in the studio and then you just, you're just trying to be you're just trying to keep the relationship alive. That's what I'm thinking about you. In actual fact, there's a lot of stuff going up in your mind.
I'll be honest with you. There was a situation today where I was like, you know, and I sent a message. So it was just.
He does wear his sleeve in his heart. I'm shame. His woman is a very lucky girl.
So that did happen, you know, and it wasn't work. I wasn't frustrated. I was like, I'm actually thinking about, you know, so yeah.
David loves you. He does love you. Yeah, man. You should. Outside singing, I'm sure you should document this also in the book so that guys that are growing up will learn this love kind of thing and all that. Yes. Okay, so jazz and love. Is there a relationship?
I think so,
Yes,
because
definitely.
like if you think of a lot of the jazz standards, there's for example, I fall in love too easily. That's about love, you know. I loves you, Porgy. You know, that's a love song. There's some
Russian.
You know what I mean?
I love you, Porgy.
Yes, that's a jazz.
Isn't that was it? Georgie
That's from
Porgy,
Georgie
Porgy, put in
No,
a
it's from-
pie, kiss the girls that make them cry. George was because
And there's also Georgie
because I
Porgy.
thought George was actually kissing the girls and making them cry. And when the other guys come out to play,
No.
George runs away, man. So
You know what?
I actually didn't like that because George is a mean guy, man.
Yes.
But I think James is better. James
Yeah.
always loved. And David also. David wasn't just a lover man, he was a very beautiful musician.
Right, exactly.
Is that why they christened you David?
I think so.
Yeah, I think
I've
so.
got 3 names: David, Mark, Ruben. And my mom named me David, and there was an Anglican priest who was in our family, and I got Ruben from him. But all those names are from the Bible, so I think, you know. And like Thuli was saying, she grew up with music. In my house, it was the same thing.
Yeah.
My mom used to sing. In fact, my mom and dad used to sing, you know.
Yeah.
And I played, what's that song? There's a jazz standard called, I can't remember the name, but I played it once for her. And I didn't know my mom knew jazz. And she's like, that's a lovely song. And I'm like, okay. So she, you know, the whole, you know, musicality. And I think she must have felt, okay, David's appropriate, you know. And I think when I was showing interest in music, it wasn't like an oddity, you know. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. That's great. And Mark,
Yes.
David,
I don't know where the
Ruben.
mark comes from.
What is a marked difference in your personality? And that's quite impressive.
Well, exactly, you know. I looked up the meanings of my name. So David means beloved.
Yeah.
And Mark apparently means like the warrior or something. Like
Yeah, it's a
that.
Greek name or something.
Exactly, you know. And then Reuben is behold the son.
Yeah.
So
that was the first son of Jacob, right?
Exactly. So in terms of, I don't know when the warrior is gonna rise up.
Well, your song is actually a warrior song because love is very important. So I just wanted to ask about how you've been able to weaponize because music, being an instrument, can also be a weapon to be able to create peace. So, so how do you intend to eventually establish your songs, your kind of music, as a weapon of social integration among the different nationalities in South Africa and also bringing Africa together?
Well, I think, you know, in terms of just being who we are. For example, Thuli and I are really from 2 different backgrounds, if you will, even in the setting of South Africa. So that in itself is almost like a symbol of sorts for me.
Some kind of
you know.
integration.
Exactly, you know. So I feel like just being ourselves, our songs are unique. Because I think a lot of people are trying to be somebody that they're not, and they're trying to impress, and so they feel like
go with the flow.
go with
what's
the flow.
happening out there.
Exactly. you
Yeah, go with the flow.
But also,
So-
I think what will help us is the fact that one of the things we got really good at during lockdown is our YouTube channel
Yes.
and just our social media. We've been very communicative. We do a lot of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
We post every week, so our audience really gets to see us.
Yeah.
For
It's now
who
a
we
global
are.
audience.
That's right.
Exactly. that's the beauty of the internet, you know. But also when it comes to like the messages in our songs and whatnot, I think it will be very easy for us to put everything out there because you guys are exposed to us every day, all day. Well, we don't vlog like that, no.
Okay, it's just talking about the global audience. I'm sure some guy somewhere in Côte d'Ivoire, some guy somewhere in even New Orleans, because this is a global show, and they are asking, what is Thuli? What does it mean?
Okay, so my name, Thuli, means the quiet one.
The quiet one?
I have to laugh.
Yes, we are laughing.
Did you spot an irony or something?
Go on.
Guys, I'm not quiet, but sometimes my actions are quiet. So yes, maybe just like warrior.
I bet you asked that why he gave it to Lily. So what did he say? Why did he give it to Lily?
Who gave it to Lily? My dad, my grand, I can't remember. But my mom gave me Nondando, which means God's will, and I think I'm definitely God's will.
Yeah, you are. And you're doing his will.
Yes.
Okay, so let's do another song for our audience, okay, so that they can feel this grace that both of you have and how you're trying to put it together. So just something, one of your, maybe from your past album, maybe something around the one that you spoke about on gender-based violence, and all that.
I think we're gonna do Joy. We're gonna do
Joy
because Joy is a big favorite, and
Okay.
it was also in the top 3 of what are we going to release first. So I think if we don't do Joy, people are gonna be sad.
Okay, let's hear Joy. So viewers, and then we'll do us another song, and this time it's called Joy, but not the kind of Anita Baker Joy, your own kind of joy. All right, take it out, Joy.
My life was good, I was pretty satisfied. I'd not given up on love to come my way. I was content, remained in my search. Then you came along, I was pretty blown away. Pretty much effortless, the way you love me. You're a dream come true. Joy came and filled my heart.
More than words can say.
Joy reigned and lifted.
Joy unspeakable.
Oh, joy, you're welcome.
Joy incredible.
Oh, joy, please stay. Oh, joy, you're welcome.
Joy incredible.
Oh, joy, you're welcome here. Yes, you did. Oh, joy, please stay. I love the way you love me. I love the way you love me. Oh, joy, joy. Playa, playa, playa. Ba ba da da do.
Wow, great. Joy, you try to make Joy look human. It's like a person.
Yes, exactly.
You know, that's the concept that I have, and then you're welcoming Joy into your
Yeah,
house.
yeah. I really believe in the power of the tongue. That, you know, like Mina, when people see my lyrics, they think, okay, I was playing out for 20 years. No, guys. I just know what I want and how I want it, and I believe in it, you know. So, like, for Joy, it's just calling it into existence.
Yeah.
The positivity, the joy. Everyone deserves to be happy.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think
just
sometimes we
speak
just
it.
exist and we don't
Speak joy into
believe.
existence. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's her
Definitely.
favorite phrase.
Yeah.
I just want
So you
to
write-
be happy.
Yes.
So you write all your songs,
Yeah. we
Yes.
do.
both of you, or
Yes,
Yeah,
together.
it's teamwork.
together? So how do you bounce it off each other?
Well, you know, in terms of that, I think Thuli is great with lyrics. And that's, I'm not saying putting her in a box, don't get me wrong. But I've seen her craft things out of nothing. You know, like
So
this
she's a
song.
wordsmith.
Exactly, like this song that you just heard. It was just
It just comes like that. It's
you
natural.
know.
Fantastic.
And then there was one song that I had a melody and the chords for, and she just then worked her magic. And
So she does the lyrics, and then you do the music. You just try to.
no, that's what I'm saying. She's not in a box.
Okay.
Sometimes she'll give me a whole song. You know,
Everything.
Like
I
Coffee in the
remember with Coffee in the
Morning.
Morning.
Yes.
Coffee in the Morning was like the cutest story because like I dreamt the ba-da, ba-da, da, 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 and it was
Yeah.
haunting me like for days. I
Yeah.
couldn't think of anything else except that
Yeah.
melody. So I was like, David, hey, check this out.
She
man.
sent it on a voice
I
note or
sent it on a
something.
voice note at the phone, and he comes back with beautiful chords. And I'm like, yo, okay, now what do I do?
But you know, if I can
Great.
jump in there, what had happened with that song was she sent me the voice note, and it was another case of and then like what is this? Like it was in the back burner.
That's
for
where the
how
and
long?
then
Yeah,
became very
exactly.
strong.
But when he finally
When I
touched
finally
it with his
got to it,
magic
I'm like,
hands,
this is
yo.
amazing, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so,
And then I was like just so in love with the chords and he's like, write the damn song.
yes,
Finish
because the
the
words
song.
Yeah.
needed to come, the lyrics, yes.
So then one afternoon I did.
she did,
Here we
literally
are.
in an afternoon. Yeah.
It's very, very good concept. I identify with it very strongly because I also grew up listening to Tracy Chapman.
Right.
And then she does a lot of that voice kind of things.
Yeah.
I wouldn't attempt to do that. But it's quite.
Cover.
So what are the plans now? What are the future plans?
Well, the album is next for sure. So we've actually recorded.
Are you getting enough exposure, enough airtime, enough listening?
Well, you know, with YouTube.
What's the promotion like?
Well, our song is 2 days old, guys.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
should actually go find it on your Spotify.
So where?
Find it
Okay.
on YouTube, find it on iTunes.
Do you want to tell them where?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. If you go to our website, and then music, so ndenmusic.co.za, it's got all the listings of where you can find our songs, but also follow us on Facebook. We are NDEN, and then on Instagram we are _music.
Okay, and you can drop some of those songs on H television.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So so what's the plan? 5 years from today, and then,
Sure.
and then, 5 years from today, and then.
That's exactly what our name means. You
That's
guys cut
That's
that
it.
story
That's it.
very short.
That's it.
The
Yes.
fact that our name has a continuance, like we
It's a
see,
journey,
you
yes.
know, it's a journey,
Yeah.
and we want you guys to come on this journey with us. And yeah, so in 5 years' time, we hope with Corona will be gone, and
For
we'll
sure.
be, you know, taking our music everywhere,
Yes.
writing even more,
Yeah.
releasing even more
More,
albums,
yes, more
because
albums.
yeah, we want to get the music out there, guys.
Yes.
It's not for us to hug.
Yeah.
So when is this going to run before we hear another one from you?
So
How long?
we've recorded 4 tracks.
Okay.
The single is out. So we're almost
Slowly.
there, guys. Slowly.
Slowly.
People must book us so we can make the money to
Yes.
go back to
Talking about people book, how is the market receiving it so far? The audience also, are they? How's the reception like?
I think we performed 2 gigs this year so far.
Yeah, well, 6.
Yes, if we,
6 gigs,
yes, if
but
we add all of them, yeah.
And it's been really, really well received.
yes,
But
yes.
also,
Well, I hope there was social distancing when you were
No,
doing
for
the
sure,
gigs.
for sure, absolutely.
Okay.
yes.
just the two of us, guys.
Yes.
It's like
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, so even digitally, like people are really watching it on
Yeah.
YouTube
Yeah.
and also on Spotify and iTunes, and we really appreciate the support,
Yes.
guys. Continue sharing it also on your
Exactly.
socials, on your statuses on WhatsApp. Yeah, it's been beautiful to watch, and we appreciate it.
Okay, so speak to your audience now. A lot of youths are going through a moment.
Yeah.
Corona, unemployment. You know, the statistics keep coming out and they become very scary in everywhere across Africa and even globally. And so there's a lot of, unhappiness. I don't want to say depression, but I know music, like, you know, your name in the Bible.
Yes.
Somewhere in Samuel also, First Samuel also said when Saul had his moments and David comes and plays the harp and he calms him down. So I wanted to speak with them to calm them down, to just give them the assurance that it is well, and that, I mean, this was born out of the lockdown, out of a very trying period. So, and many are going through a lot of trying periods. So I wanted to speak to them and let them know that if you can get something out of this situation, they can. And just talk to them and then give them confidence.
Well, I would say, guys, that, you know, the one thing for me, because I'm very much, unlike Thuli, a homebody. So I wouldn't say prone to depression, but, you know, people who stick to themselves tend to be, you know, you in your own thoughts and you're kind of just thinking about your situation. But I'm grateful for someone like Thuli who gets me out of that zone. And the thing is shifting your focus away from what is going on with you. And sometimes it's just thinking about somebody else. It might be, and there's so many people to think about, you know. And for me, that really helps me to get out of this funk, this zone that, oh, things are just so bad, and keep busy, keep moving, you know.
Definitely.
Because if you don't keep moving, you just start to concentrate on what's not there. You're always thinking about, okay, I should be this, I should.
And the negativity.
Just thoughts, and then those negative thoughts just it's like compound interest, you know.
But
so,
also, I think as much as we need to check on,
Actually,
on the
speak to
people
them
that,
also.
you know, keep more to themselves. Sometimes the people that are always fine need the checking in as well.
That's true.
So I feel like this pandemic has really just woken us all up to, like, you know, understand we need each other. No man is an island, and we just need to keep on checking on each other. And like David said, keep busy, guys. We all have passions that are in the back burner. You know, just, you know, if you want to ride, start somewhere, start today. But yeah, we are there every week posting to hopefully put a smile on your face. On our YouTube channel as well. And the music is there, guys. Music is your best G when no one else is around. So just use the tools that are available. And yeah, be positive, guys. We love you.
I also wanted to say just one last thing. You know, in terms of, I've been fortunate to be able to work through the lockdown. But I think sometimes we miss the opportunity of what this might present. So maybe you're in a situation where, like Thuli saying, you had an idea to do something, now you have the time. You know, so sometimes we can focus on, okay, make the opportunity out of nothing, you know, and make most of the time that we have.
Don't waste this. Don't waste this crisis. Don't waste it. Take advantage of this crisis and make something.
That's right.
Well, you know, I did attempt back in high school to do some stuff about music formally, and this stuck with me from then. When they introduced music as the definition of music was a combination of sound that makes sense. And that had always been with me. And so how can we make sense out of music during a crisis? Because at times the storms of life come so threatening that you even forget who you are yourself. You forget everything about you, and you focus a lot more on the storms. And I tell you, some storms are really storms. I mean, so what kind of sense do you make when you're in crisis for music, especially your music?
Yes. For me, I just, you know, music has always been a lifeline. I can't think of a time, like, I would think my crisis would be if there was no music. Like, if there like, do you know what I mean?
I can't even imagine a world without, you know, music.
So, like, for me, that's just listening to a song that I enjoy, that it's been, even if it's years old, it's such a positive, you know.
It brings back that.
Exactly.
All right, viewers, you heard it from And Then, Thuli and David, and how to make sense of the crisis situation from music. And had a very useful conversation.
Thank you so
much.
And
very inspiring also
for inviting us.
A lot of people, a lot of young people that have listened to you will get encouraged. And I'm sure they can also reach you in case they want to be mentored by you, so that they can actually come that. So we've come to the end of the conversation, and I'd like to have you back again so that we can explore other things and see how the numbers are coming in, you know, because you've got to pay the bills, that I know. And then we can talk a lot more about the industry itself as a business.
Right.
We didn't have the opportunity to discuss that. So next time we'll have to focus on that to see the business out of it and how other people can participate in the music industry in South Africa and also in Africa. So until we come your way again, actually I have another guest that is coming in, and we'll be discussing sports, also another form of entertainment, and to see how that also can be an instrument as music is to get some guys off the street. So viewers, thank you for tuning in to Akpan's Diary. I remain James Akpan, and I'll see you just in a moment. Thank you.
In this age and times comes great ideas, sweet memories,
new techniques,
untold stories about Africa and the world at large. Guess what? The new age brings on board a brand name in broadcasting technology.
Introducing Age Television. At Age Television, we serve you with professionalism
in news and event coverage,
live streaming, documentaries,
artist management,
video and photography,
social media management, and lots more.
For inquiries, call us on +27 061 773 9628
or 027 064 543 0136.
You can also send us WhatsApp messages on 078 229 4593.
YouTube HTV/Durban. Tweet us at HTV Durban.
Facebook at HTV Durban.
Instagram at HTV.Durban.
Email us at htvdurban@gmail.com.
Visit our website on www.htv.co.za. Age Television, celebrating the uncelebrated.